everyone, Steph here from thegoodride.com. We're here checking out the new women's Stratos from Jones. This is in a 146. This is an all-mountain snowboard that has a freeride shape with a freestyle personality. So basically it has the body of a directional freeride board, but it has a freestyle personality, and it rides similar to a freestyle board, but on a powder day you can set it back with this float pack they have right here. And the directional tapered shape along with the 3D contour base will help you float in powder. And it also comes with the centered base. The Camber Profile of the Stratos is Jones's directional rocker profile, which is a positive camber in between the bindings, going to a little rocker on the tail and an elongated rocker on the nose, along with the 3D base where the nose and the tail kind of spoon up and away from the snow, allowing for a pretty catch-free fluid ride and also allowing for extra float in powder. Here you can see the float pack on the binding inserts, which gives you an added extra amount of float if you set your bindings all the way back. It also comes with the Traction Tech 3.0, so you get a very mellow wave along the side cut here that ends up in 3 bumps, here, here, and here. And a pretty friendly flex. It's a 7 out of 10 flex. So somewhere in between a stable all-mountain board, but it also has like the ability to butter and play around and do some freestyle inspired riding. So I was able to ride the Stratos on, it was a spring day. It was icy in the morning, going to kind of like the magic hour where it's just perfectly the amount of soft, going to your average California spring corn slush riding. My first run on the Stratos, I felt at home. It felt very familiar to me. My style of riding is definitely an all-mountain freestyle type of riding, and the Stratos kind of met all those needs for me, which is really cool because when you look at it, you don't really expect it to react like an all-mountain freestyle board, but it totally does. The torsional flex seemed pretty soft. I felt like I was able to twist it and make it turn quickly if I wanted to, and it had a friendly enough flex where I could pop ollies wherever I wanted to, you know, throw some spins and even butter a little bit around the mountain. So on the steeps, the Stratos felt great. It was quick to turn without trying too hard. It's kind of medium stable. It's not extremely stable like some of the Jones boards, like say the Hovercraft or the Flagship, but it has a nice stable feel on the snow where you can ride it with confidence and keep a nice consistent line in the steeps. I feel like the Stratos doesn't have that large radius Jones board feel that a lot of their boards do. It kind of likes that medium radius turn. It's like the happy medium all mountain type board. Riding it off piste in moguls, the Stratos felt great. I loved the responsiveness of it. I loved how I could turn it very quickly in tight spots wherever I wanted to, and it didn't really get locked in like when I chose a turn or a pathway to go, you know, and then had to change my mind last minute, then I was able to turn it. It wasn't like that really locked in feel that you get from a stiffer, more aggressive board. So it has a nice happy medium there. And then going down to Groomers, the Stratos is fun to carve. It has a slightly wider waist width. So the waist width of the 146 is 239 millimeters or 23.9 centimeters. So it's a little bit on the wider side, but not too much, just enough to add a little extra stability and a little extra surface area on the snow. And carving it felt a lot of fun. It's not a hard charging carver, but it definitely can carve, and it's super fun to carve. And I feel like the friendly flex at least allowed me as a lighter weight rider to get some energy back from the board without putting a ton of effort into the turn. So you can do like a medium effort into the turn and still get that energy back. And then you get to the freestyle side of this. You know, the Stratos I feel like would be super fun on natural hits. I had a lot of fun popping off, you know, cat track ledges and this really mini cliff drop that we have in the spring and like the rollers. So it felt fun and it wasn't too serious, so that you could play around on it and spin and ride switch if you want. You know, you can definitely ride switch on it. It's not a super directional swallowtail or anything. So you could land switch or take off switch without thinking too much about it. And it brings us into like ollies. It was super fun to ollie. It was fun to play around. Like I said, I kind of felt at home on it right away because I thrive in that all mountain freestyle type board, and the Stratos like felt like that. But the plus side is once it snows and if it dumps, the shape of the board, the taper of the board, and the 3D contour base will allow the Stratos to float well in powder. I wasn't able to ride it in powder. I did ride it through some pretty deep slush, but you know, it just has all the right ingredients for a pretty decent powder board. You get the directional tail with the taper that'll allow it to sink. You get the big old nose with the rocker that'll allow it to float. And you get a very maneuverable feel underfoot so that you can turn in tight situations in trees and or just cruise down an open face in powder and enjoy it. And I love that they have the float pack on here because you're able to even set it back even more. And that way you don't have to switch your board out. You can just move your bindings back and be happy. And I really like the top sheet that this comes with. It's a textured top sheet that's not slick. So, you know, you don't need a stomp pad. If you're riding 1 foot, you get some nice traction on the top sheet, but it also seems pretty durable. Like it's not going to scratch up or dent or like, you know, get all banged up really quickly. So I like it. It's probably gonna stay looking good as well for a long time. So who is the Stratos for? I feel like this board could be good for a high intermediate advanced expert rider. Someone who wants a directional all mountain ride but doesn't want to give up all the benefits of having an all mountain freestyle board. Someone who wants a little bit of everything. It truly does like dabble all over the mountain. It has features that will allow you to float in powder, that it will allow you to carve turns, and that will allow you to have some fun in the freestyle realm as well. I feel like it's a very versatile board that could be fitting for a lot of different rider personalities. For a rider who doesn't take life too seriously but wants a little bit of performance underfoot and also wants the option to ride it on a powder day and not have to switch out a board or have like more than one board in their quiver. So it's a look at the women's Stratos from Jones.